The story begins with a blonde-haired boy looking at a school building, pondering how people associate high school life with youth, friends, and more. Everyone has expectations for their school life, but that's not the case for him. However, it seems it's all about the change. The scene shifts to a girl who enters carrying a pile of snacks, and her companions ask whether she intends to eat them all. The protagonist observes them quietly, and by now 2 months have passed since enrollment. Groups have already been established, and each person has begun inscribing a page in their youth. He rises from his seat and departs. The girl glances his way, noticing him, and lightly licks her finger. Meanwhile, Yuku Asahi continues his existence as a loner, undisturbed. He once thought eating in the restroom was merely a joke, yet now he realizes it is not so unpleasant. Though concerned about hygiene, he reassures himself that since the food is sealed in a bag, it should be safe enough. Having transferred schools for as long as he can remember, somewhere along the way, he forgot how to forge friendships. He does not search for anything anymore. All he wishes is to pass his days in quiet solitude, nothing more. Suddenly, the girl from earlier peeks inside and remarks that she has found him. She asks whether he can open the door, and he stiffens in shock, panic flooding his chest. She wonders if he is all right, and he firmly reminds her that this is the boys' bathroom. Tsukimine acknowledges it with ease, so he asks why she didn't leave then, musing that she is the only one whose presence here troubles him. She questions why he is eating in such a place, and inwardly, he admits it is because he has no friends. Tsukimine Chiyo, by contrast, is radiant, beloved, the center of attention in class. Their natures could not be more opposite. Lost briefly in thought, she remains silent, prompting him to ask what she actually wants. At last she answers, saying the food he is eating looks delicious. He retorts by asking if she had not devoured plenty of bread earlier in the classroom. She explains with a straight face that food and this belonged to entirely different stomachs. He sighs, yet before he can argue further, she asks softly if it is truly no good. In response, he hurriedly eats it himself. He continues saying that even if he refuses, it will make no difference, and in that instant she locks the door. She suddenly climbs atop him, and between these two complete opposites, there is a hidden secret. His face reddens as he stammers that there is no need for her to be on top. She undoes his button, recalling aloud that last time it became stuck on the collar. While he protests in vain that she is not listening, his embarrassment rises uncontrollably. Without warning, she bites into his neck, her lips pressing against his skin as she begins to draw his blood. Breath-catching, he asks if it is not already enough, and after a moment she withdraws her fangs, staring intently at him. His composure falters and she notices, while he demands that she step away. She apologizes softly, remarking that he is a boy after all, then offers him a bandage to cover the wound. This is a secret between them. If he desires to continue living quietly, he must conceal this strange bond. She thanks him gently, while the truth is revealed. Tsukimine is a vampire. In class, he wonders if he should stop by the library. He notices the boys trying to persuade Tsukimine to spend time with them. The girls join in as well, and she laughs awkwardly, uncertain about what to do. He observes that she remains as popular as ever, and with everyone constantly surrounding her, it must be exhausting for her. Still, he decides it has nothing to do with him. Later, he goes to his designated seat in the library and feels relieved that she has not followed him, making the atmosphere peaceful. Yet at that very moment, she calls out to him. Surprised, Asahi asks if she was not supposed to go out with her friends, but she replies casually that she ditched them. She takes the book from his hand and asks what he is reading. It happens to be a dictionary on vampires, and she immediately questions whether he is researching her. He explains that he is simply trying to learn her weaknesses. She blushes faintly, finding it embarrassing. He reveals that the most popular person in his class is not even human. She is a vampire, and he alone knows her secret. He asks whether the things written in the book are accurate. She responds that she can tell him, but only if she receives something in return. He steels himself, prepared to endure some damage for the greater good, and agrees. Pleased, she sits down beside him with a bright expression. He begins with the most well-known trait, sucking human blood. She admits that it is true, but explains that there are substitutes available. He immediately tells her to rely on them instead, yet she states she has her own preferences. His confusion lingers, but he moves on to the next entry. Weakness to sunlight. She admits she dislikes it, though she does not burst into ash. That is why she wears long sleeves during the day. He proceeds to ask if she fears crosses, but since she is not religious, she has no idea. He then questions whether she would die if a stake were driven through her heart, and she trembles, retorting that anyone would die from that. When he asks if she is afraid of garlic, she responds cheerfully that she loves it. He continues to test various entries, only to sigh in disappointment, realizing the information is utterly useless. At that moment, she notices his neck, apologizes quietly, and declares she will take her reward now. Without hesitation, she bites him. After some time, she finally finishes, and he mutters that she should at least choose a better spot. She chuckles softly and teases him, asking whether this excites him. His face turns crimson. She quickly adds that she is only joking before preparing to leave. Just before she departs, however, he stops her and asks if he can pose a question. He wonders aloud why she always bites the neck when drinking blood. To him, it seems nothing more than the common image people have of vampires, since there are certainly easier places to bite. Her face suddenly flushes crimson. He tilts his head, confused, while she stammers, begging him not to make her say strange things. Calling him an idiot, she storms off angrily, leaving him behind in bewilderment. Asahi injures his leg while playing and thinks he has messed up. Either way, he is not skilled at team sports at all. In a sense, he might even be fortunate. The teacher asks if his leg is okay, and he assures him it's merely a slight sprain. He then asks if he can fetch some equipment from the gym storage. The teacher apologizes for troubling him with the task. He exhales, calling it a nuisance, yet he also feels uneasy just sitting idly. On his way, he notices the girls. Tsukimine scores, and the girls are astonished by her. He admires her athletic capabilities. Since she's a vampire, it makes sense, though only he knows this. She notices him walking away and fixes her gaze on him. Inside the storage room, he wonders where everything is. Tsukimine tells him he's not supposed to be idling away. He asks about her class and mentions that the teacher asked him to run an errand. She admits she slipped out, and he responds that she's the one shirking duties then. He asks what she needs and immediately refuses, declaring he won't provide blood. She flushes red and insists that's not why she's there. She explains she's concerned because he's limping. He tells her it's only a sprain and asks her to leave. She asks if she truly appears that pitiable. He questions if she said something, and she falters, claiming she didn't. He feels bewildered, wondering why she's upset. She remarks that the weather is hot and unzips her jacket. He recalls that she once said she wears long sleeves during the day, which must be harsh for her, not that he actually cares. He gathers the equipment and turns to return, but pain shoots through his leg. She tries to catch him, only for both to fall. She apologizes and he looks at her, thinking she must endure greater hardship in this heat with long sleeves, yet she was still worried about him. She asks if he's angry, and he offers her his blood, leaving her bewildered. She questions why he's suddenly saying this. He replies that if she doesn't want it, that's fine, but she deeply desires it. He urges her to hurry, or they'll think he's neglecting duties, but notices her undergarments because of the sweat, and quickly averts his face in embarrassment. She remarks that he's deliberately making it easier for her to drink. Flustered, he retorts that it's not like that. She sinks her fangs in and begins to draw blood. When she finally pulls away, he calls her name. She chuckles, thanks him for the meal, and walks off. He stays frozen, wondering if that was really just 2 bites. Afterward, her friend asks where she's been, and she replies that it's a secret. Inside Asahi's home, he plays with his pencil. He wonders why he did that, offering her to drink his blood, and he exhales. He cannot even complete his homework because of this and thinks of going for a walk to clear his mind. He notices that tonight is a full moon and considers that a nighttime stroll once in a while is not that bad. Tsukimine notices him and calls out to him. She remarks that it is a coincidence they encounter each other this late. He is startled and observes that she is dressed lightly. She inquires if he is here to purchase a midnight snack, and he replies that he only came for a walk. He notices her late-night snack and wonders how much she intends to eat again. Flustered, she insists that it is not for 1 day and she will consume it in 2 days. She comments that it is her first time seeing him wear glasses, and he reveals that he uses lenses at school. She snatches his glasses and asks if they suit her. He glances and replies that he cannot tell since everything is blurry, and she laughs. He flushes red, and in school she is always in long sleeves, so he never noticed, but looking at her like this now, he can understand why all the boys dote on her. She catches his gaze and remarks that his stare is indecent, and he becomes flustered, explaining that it is not like that. He reminds her that it is late and asks if it is not dangerous to be dressed so lightly, and she asks if he is concerned about her, and he responds that it is not like that. She assures him that she will be fine because nighttime is vampire time. He remembers that she is a vampire, and he does not need to worry about her. She remarks that she should head home now and leaves. Before she departs, he tells her that he will walk her home. She is baffled, and he questions what he is even saying. He tells her to forget about it and tries to leave, and she seizes him and asks if she may request a favor. He blushes and consents. On their way back, he remains silent while she recounts her day. She keeps speaking, and he reflects to himself that it was supposed to be a brief diversion, yet how did it end like this? She asks if he is paying attention. He continues thinking that he is the one who said he would accompany her, but now it feels somewhat unresolved. It is a bit late to question what she truly is to him. A classmate, a troublesome vampire, or a friend. He thinks she is not a friend since he does not even have her number. He wonders what she considers this relationship to be. He questions if he is nothing more than her personal blood source. She notices that he is even quieter than usual and asks if he is all right. He replies it is nothing and he was merely lost in thought. She chuckles and he feels perplexed. She remarks that being together with a friend like this at night feels unusual. He is stunned and demands to know who she is calling a friend. She responds that she is referring to them, and he reveals that he does not even know her contact information. She realizes he is correct and requests his number. He asks if it is not fine even if they do not know. She tells him it is fine and insists they should exchange quickly. He overthinks it and feels foolish. It is fine by him if being friends is this simple. She thanks him for walking her home, and he thanks her instead, which makes her demand to know why. He brushes it aside, and he feels somewhat relieved. She halts him and seizes him, and he assumes she intends to drink blood. But instead, she takes a selfie. He is in disbelief, and she asks what is wrong. She teases him, asking if he thought she was going to drain his blood. He tells her that the flash was too bright, and she apologizes. She bids him good night with a smile, and he grows flustered. On his way back, he looks at her contact information and smiles. He notices she has sent him a message, and it is the selfie from earlier. He flushes red, and he sighs, thinking it is irritating, yet saves the picture. The next day, Tsukimine messages Yuka, saying she's meeting friends at a restaurant and asks what he's up to. He wonders how to respond, but decides to be himself. When she gets his reply, she's happy, until she sees how short it is. Annoyed, she asks if he's doing homework alone. He wonders if she's teasing him for being by himself. She chuckles. Just then, her friend Yuzu arrives and asks if she waited long. Tsukimine says no, then asks where Sakura is. Yuzu replies she's always late, so it's nothing new. They both laugh. Noticing Tsukimine's cheerful mood, Yuzu asks if something happened. Suddenly, Sakura shows up, out of breath. They ask what is wrong with her, and she reveals she was betrayed. The two of them feel perplexed. Yuzu asks if her favorite actor's romance was exposed, and she responds with tears in her eyes. They reassure her that she worried for nothing, and tell her it is not cheating. Sakura insists it is terrible and a betrayal of the fans. Yuzu asks if she liked him, and she replies that she supports all handsome men. Tsukimine listens to them and wonders if Asahi has a girlfriend. Shocked, she questions if blood-sucking counts as cheating. Yuzu notices she looks troubled, and she asks where cheating begins. Yuzu thinks for a moment and replies that for her, it starts with kissing, and she feels relieved that she is safe. Sakura asserts that going out together already crosses the line, and she worries that she is not safe. Yuzu observes that she is quite strict about this despite her personality. Sakura remarks that it is unusual for Tsukimine to indulge in such topics, and Yuzu teases her, asking if it is related to her smiling at her phone, and she flushes red. Sakura grows interested and asks her to tell them more. She confesses that there is someone she occasionally meets, and that person has been supporting her. The two of them are shocked, and she continues, asking if he had a girlfriend and she was unaware. Then would it count as cheating? Her friends panic and ask if it is something like sugar dating. Flustered, she explains that they are the same age and sometimes go out to eat. Sakura asks if she has been corrupted. Yuzu tells her that, for now, Tsukimine cannot help but be curious about that person. She admits that she does not comprehend romance and such, and she merely thought that if he had a girlfriend, then perhaps she should not be involved. Yuzu advises her to ask him directly about it, saying it would be uncomfortable if she left things unresolved. And if he turns out to be a scoundrel, she will knock him out on her behalf. She laughs awkwardly, thanks them both, and feels much better. They tell her not to mention it, and she suddenly blurts out his name, and Sakura asks if she is talking about their classmate Asahi, and she realizes she has slipped. Sakura wants to know more, and Yuzu admits she never knew she was into that type, and she struggles to explain, while Asahi feels a chill run down his spine. The next morning at school, Yuko tells himself that he did not receive a reply yesterday and wonders if she thinks he is upset. To think that a single message could make him this uneasy. And he notices Tsukimine with her friends, and he makes eye contact with her by accident. Sakura tells her that he is coming, and she already knows, and Yuzu asks if she is going to ask him. He wonders if they are speaking about him, and he feels uncomfortable and thinks of heading to the classroom. At that moment, Tsukimine calls him out and asks if they can talk after school, and he is stunned by her sudden request. After school on Rooftop, he reminds her that she wanted to talk, and she replies that she did. Silence lingers, and he wonders why it is so quiet. Until yesterday, everything seemed ordinary, and if his reply was truly that poor. He thinks that this morning, perhaps they were laughing at him. He knows that Tsukimine and her friends stand at the top of the class hierarchy, and it would be troublesome to worsen his relationship with her. Even if he is excluded, since he is already a loner, it will not bring him much harm. On the other hand, she is panicking because she lost the chance to bring it up, and after yesterday, she has been strangely self-conscious because her friends teased her. Being alone on the rooftop, she thinks it feels like a confession. She thinks she should have brought her friends along. The two of them remain silent, and they both finally speak at the same time. She asks what it is, and he replies it is nothing. He chuckles, attempting to ease the mood, and she feels more awkward since they spoke at the same time. She tries to summon her courage, but then she wonders if he truly has a girlfriend. He also loses his chance to clarify everything since they spoke at the same moment. He gets a message and checks it. Yuko feels strange because he should be able to quietly move on, even if he is disliked, and wonders why he feels disappointed. He realizes that it is because she said they are friends that he feels this way. By changing schools so many times, he began avoiding getting close to escape being hurt. But now she is trying to tell him something, so he gathers the courage and tells her that he will be fine, so she should not hold back. She apologizes for making him worry, even though she called him out here. Flustered, she then asks if he thinks sucking counts as cheating. He is bewildered and asks why she is asking this so suddenly, and he does not understand what she means. She replies that she thinks that drinking blood while having a girlfriend might be cheating. He asks if it is not too late for that, and he wonders if this is him getting lost in his thoughts again. She questions him about it, and he admits he does not know since he never had a girlfriend before. Saying this himself makes him feel sad. She asks him about the girls he likes, and he replies that there are none. She nods in understanding, leaving Yuko confused. She's relieved. Now she can drink without worrying. He stammers, asking why she think that. She replies, "Because you don't have a girlfriend." He protests, asking what about his consent. She calmly asks him to let her know if he ever does get a girlfriend. He sighs. Then she asks if now's a good time and starts moving toward him, leaving him baffled. She adds that since they're alone, it's perfect. He quickly tells her to wait. He comments that her face looks frightening, and she opens her mouth, bites him, and begins drinking his blood. Yuko feels irritated because he always ends up being swept along. She remarks that it tasted better than usual, and she comments that his face looks pale, and he collapses. Panicked, she asks if she drank too much and apologizes. He is starting to want a girlfriend, but first he needs to find someone he actually likes. The scene shifts to Asahi at a DVD store, where he is thrilled because today is the all-night overseas drama festival that he has been eager about, and he needs to prepare some juice and snacks. At that moment, someone smacks him on the back, and he assumes it is Tsukimine, but it is not her. It is Sakura, and she apologizes if she was too forward and admits it is awkward, and she asks if he knows who she is. He recalls her. She is relieved, and she tells him to call her Sakura. He is perplexed. She says she heard about him from Tsukimine, and since she had not spoken to him before, she was curious and decided to approach him. He is stunned. She reveals that at first she wondered if it might be sugaring, and she got worried. He is shocked and thinks hearing about this should be fine. He tells her he is heading home and makes it clear that there is nothing happening between him and Tsukimine. He refuses to let his peace be disturbed any further. He sighs, and she follows him behind. He glances at her, and she is curious about what he borrowed. She teasingly asks if it is something indecent. He tells her it is an overseas drama. She admits she does not watch those. He asks if she bought something, and she replies it is a secret. He thinks she is irritating. She asks if it is not better to use a subscription service for this, and he responds that it is not available for streaming, and he prefers directly searching in stores, as he can find unexpected gems, so he enjoys it. He thinks what he said sounded corny, yet she is impressed and understands it. Looking at them all arranged excites her, and she also often buys manga based on the cover. He is actually glad if she comprehends that, and he wonders why he feels as though he is being charmed. She notices and tells him he has the second one, and she asks where the first is. He reveals that he already watched the first part and enjoyed it, so he borrowed the sequel. She considers and then tells him to wait a moment and purchases something. She tells him she borrowed the same one as well. He is baffled, and she explains that this way they can discuss it together, and that is fun. He thinks popular kids are remarkable. She laughs softly and says that conversing with him has changed her impression of them. He is bewildered, and she explains that at school he gives off an aura of not wanting others near him, and it is because he wishes to live his life quietly. She continues that people often say she appears intimidating. She thought it was a waste since he is such a handsome boy. He is stunned by her words. She continues that it is not good to judge without knowing, and she is glad she spoke with him. She exchanges contact information with him. He feels as though his tranquility is slipping away, but strangely, he does not oppose it. She waves him goodbye, and he also turns to leave. At that moment, she stumbles. He runs back and asks if she is all right. She replies that she tripped because she was not looking behind her. She apologizes for showing her clumsy side. He is stunned and turns his reddened face away. Sakura realizes why he did that and calls him naughty. He tells her it is not like that, and it is just behind her, and she turns back and notices the book. It is a guide on how to make people like oneself. Panicked, she tries to explain, and he is disheartened, thinking people are so unpredictable. The next day in class, Sakura yawns as classes come to an end. Tsukimine asks Yuzu if they should stop by somewhere, but Yuzu says she's fine either way, though she's a bit worried about Chio, who's slumped over her desk. Chio groans that even thinking about finals is depressing. Yuzu suddenly remembers a start next week. Sakura comments that Tsukimine struggled with midterms, and Yuzu suggests they just head home today. Just then, Sakura spots Asahi and suddenly gets an idea. Yuzu asks what she's planning, but instead of answering, Sakura calls out, "Yuko-kun." Our guy looks bewildered as Tsukimine and Yuzu stare at Sakura in confusion. Before he knows it, they're all standing outside his house. He glances back at the three girls following him and wonders how things ended up like this. He sighs, realizing there's no way a study session at his place was part of the plan. But he agreed too quickly, desperate not to stand out. He tells them to wait a moment so he can tidy up. There's probably nothing embarrassing inside, but he wants to be sure. They nod in agreement. Outside, Tsukimine asks if it really is not a bother. Sakura assures her that he said it was fine, and Yuzu feels it was rather pushy. Tsukimine asks Sakura when she became friends with Asahi. She teases her, and Tsukimine wants to know, and he opens the door and tells them to come inside. Sakura thinks it is thrilling to be in someone else's home. They comment about his place, and he says he will prepare the tea. Sakura begins searching for adult magazines, and Yuzu tells her to stop it. While making tea, Tsukimine approaches him and says she thought she would meet his parents and asks if he is living alone. He replies that he is. He reveals that his parents transfer often, so he received permission to live alone once he entered high school. She chuckles that he is surprisingly responsible, and he is irritated. He tells her to bring some tea if she is free. They begin studying, and he helps Yuzu, and she thanks him. He was not sure how it would go at first. Sakura notices that Yuzu has finished and tells Asahi that the manga is very enjoyable. Yuzu asks if she is not too relaxed, and she replies that she has already done her homework, so there is nothing left for her to do. He cannot believe Tsukimine placed third in her grade, and he turns to her and asks if she is all right, but she is struggling, and he asks if she wants to take a break. She replies that she is almost done solving. Suddenly, Sakura rises, saying she needs something sweet and tells Yuzu to come with her to buy it together. The two of them leave. He is also exhausted, and since it is his first time hosting people at his house, he is extremely nervous. Tsukimine finally finishes solving and asks where the other two are, and he explains that they left. She also wanted to go out, and he figures she does not want to study, and she laughs. After that, silence settles, and they both realize that it is just the two of them. Meanwhile, Yuzu queries if Sakura took her out to leave the two of them alone, and she asks if it was that obvious. She then wonders about Yuzu's opinion about Tsukimine and Asahi, believing if he were a jerk, she would beat him up. Yuzu tells her to shut up, and answers that they actually suit each other, suggesting taking a detour. Back in the room, Asahi asks if she managed to solve it, and if he can check. She agrees and hands it over. He tries to calm himself down. She asks how it is, and he replies that it is mostly wrong, and her heart shatters, and she becomes gloomy. He tries to cheer her up by saying that everyone has their own talents and that she is skilled at sports. She calls herself a musclehead with an empty brain, and he cannot believe she is sulking. He tells her there are a lot of applications from middle school this time, so she stays calm. She cuts him off and replies that this is her first time attending school properly. He is confused and she apologizes, telling him it is nothing and he should forget it. He agrees and he notices the sheet and tells her that she learned all the initial formulas wrong, and she checks it and realizes he is right. He observes that the calculations are correct, so they should try a bit harder next time, offering to help her as much as he can, and he will also reward her. She gets excited and he asks what it is. She tells him that his way of saying it is cute. He asks if she is just teasing him and tells her to forget about it, and she apologizes and tells him she will try her best. He sighs because she is such a smooth talker. But he is glad, and they get to studying. She finally gets them all correct, and he praises her. She then asks if the reward is what she is imagining, and he remarks that she has suddenly become so energetic, and she asks what it is. He tells her not to make him say it, and he pulls his collar. She leans in to bite him, and he should be used to it. But being in his room makes him overly aware. She stops, leaving him confused. Shukimine admits it's no good. She sulked, made him worry, and only caused trouble. Asahi reassures her that everything's already been handled, but she insists she hasn't done her best and doesn't deserve it. He doesn't believe that and wonders why he's trying so hard to reach her. She promises to do better and asks if she can make her request again once the test is over. Asahi's heart stirs. He finally understands. She asks if he means it, then smiles and calls it a promise. Just then, the girls return. They both notice they have gotten closer, and Tsukimine tries to explain that her legs went numb and she fell. He completely forgot about the two of them. In the classroom, the students are all conversing about the class test. At the staircase, Sakura feels irritated because everyone continues inviting Tsukimine, and Yuzu remarks that it is difficult being popular. They note tears stream down Chiyo's cheeks, and Sakura asks why she is crying. She responds that she is simply glad to be free from the test. Sakura thinks they ought to invite Asahi to celebrate, and Yuzu also agrees since he assisted them. Tsukimine suddenly rises and dashes away, saying she has something to do, and they can celebrate later. Sakura wonders what has gotten into her, and while running, Tsukimine keeps thinking about the reward. The scene shifts to Asahi, and he contemplates how he should present her with the reward. It is embarrassing for him to bring it up himself, and he wonders where they ought to go. He considers that it might be safe at home, but he does not want his private space to be intruded upon. Yet more than that, he has been behaving oddly, and wonders what is wrong with him. Suddenly, Tsukimine calls out to him. She catches her breath. Before she can speak, he notices other girls approaching, and he seizes her hand and they hurry away. He ends up rushing into an empty classroom. He wonders if they have left, and she, blushing, points out his hand. Flustered, he apologizes. He wonders why he is attempting to hide, and she clasps his hand and, blushing, tells him she did her best. He is stunned and tells her it is all right, and she bites him and drinks his blood. She finishes sucking and licks his neck. He observes that something about her drinking today feels peculiarly sensual, and it makes him tingle. He calls her name, and he thinks she truly worked hard this week and brushes it aside. He tells himself it must be the heat making him think being bitten could actually feel good. As he buttons his shirt, she comments that she might have taken a bit too much. He considers heading home, and she offers him a bandage, but he declines. When she reaches out to stop him, he suddenly collapses. She panics and apologizes, saying she truly just wanted to put the bandage on. Seeing his flushed face, she asks if it's heat stroke. He mutters that this is exactly why he wanted to head home. The scene shifts to Asahi asking Tsukimine to wait as she gets closer to him. He blocks her by placing a hand over her mouth, and she mumbles, asking what's wrong. He replies that he's forbidding her from biting him for a while. She freezes in surprise, then grabs him by the collar and demands to know why. He explains that it's because she's been biting him too often, and his neck is a pretty visible spot. Yuzu even asked him about the bandage. He can't exactly tell her that he feels a strange sensation in his chest whenever she bites him. She argues that if she doesn't bite him today, she'll have to wait 4 days because of the upcoming holiday. He asks if waiting that long isn't supposed to be normal. She responds that lately his blood has been tasting better. Stunned, he suggests that she could just bite him somewhere else, but she refuses. It has to be the neck. Now that he thinks about it, he asked her the same question in the library, but she avoided answering. So again, he inquires why it has to be the neck. She stutters, struggling to respond. He tells her that if it's hard to explain, she doesn't have to. She brushes it off, saying it's nothing serious. Blushing, she wonders if she's been biting too much. She's been acting strangely ever since the exams ended. But now she's already in the mood to bite. She proposes they make it into a quiz. If he can guess why it has to be the neck, he wins, and she'll settle for biting his arm instead. But if he can't guess, she wins and gets to continue. She's confident he won't be able to figure it out, and clearly trying to provoke him. He knows he's going to get bitten either way, but curiosity gets the better of him. He agrees to the challenge. She gives him 3 chances. His first guess is that it simply tastes better on the neck. She tells him he's wrong. He thinks it can't be that simple. His next guess is that it's a matter of vampire etiquette. She checks if he's sure, and when he confirms, she tells him he's wrong again. She's clearly enjoying herself, but he's not doing this for fun. He asks whether she'll reveal the answer if he loses. She flatly refuses. He starts to think seriously. She encourages him to take his time. He begins recapping everything he knows. 1 hour passes. Even though she said he could take his time, it's probably about time to give an answer. He tells her to wait. He's close. He figures it must be something most people wouldn't normally think of. He concludes that maybe she bites his neck to show other vampires that he belongs to her. But it's too embarrassing to say, and if he's wrong, he'll just look like an idiot. Suddenly, she grabs him and pins him down. He reminds her that he hasn't finished guessing yet, but she doesn't care anymore. She's been holding back for an hour, and she can't wait any longer. Seeing her flustered face, he quickly apologizes. He checks again. If she loses, she'll go for the arm. She agrees. Next time, it'll be the arm. But this time, she's using the neck. He asks if she'll tell him the right answer if she wins. Her face turns crimson. After a pause, she finally admits. The neck attracts her more. He's left in shock. Then she sinks her fangs into his neck. Later, in the nurse's office, he asks Yuzu how she is feeling, and she replies that she is fine and apologizes for troubling him. He tells her not to worry about it. Time passes, and when he tries to leave, she stops him, asking if they should skip class together since no teacher is present. The clock continues ticking. He sits down and thinks that it is better to return, even if she insists on skipping. Besides, he does not want to talk with her, so the atmosphere feels somewhat awkward. She notices his expression and asks if he is all right. He realizes that he has been caught, and he thinks she would probably rest better without him staying. She then tells him it was a lie and admits she wanted to speak to him alone, so she pretended to be sick. He asks what she means, and she leans closer, asking what he thinks. He is confused, and she bursts into laughter, apologizing and saying that since he looked so serious, she simply wanted to tease him a little. Asahi never expected her to be such an easygoing person. She explains that she actually wanted to ask him about Chiyo, mentioning that, along with the study sessions, the two of them have been getting along quite well. Blushing, he replies that Tsukimine naturally gets along with everyone. She then inquires whether the bandage on his neck has anything to do with Tsukimine. He is shocked, and she continues, saying that although she was deceived last time, she wants to hear it again. His heart begins to race, and his words stumble. Different thoughts rush through his mind as he wonders how much she truly knows. It is no good, he has no answer. She sighs and remarks that he also knows the secret, though he tries to play dumb. She reassures him that she already knows everything since she is Tsukimine's childhood friend. He is stunned and, in shock, asks if she truly is her childhood friend. She chuckles at his expression. She then asks him what he thinks about Tsukimine. He cannot find the right words. His feelings are mixed, but at the very least he does not dislike her. She smiles, saying that is enough for her to hear. She then presses him about how far things have gone between them, but he dodges the question. Her composed demeanor begins to crack. She opens her mouth to say something else, but stops herself. Instead, she thanks him. He responds that it's nothing, and she quietly rises from the bed, suggesting they head back. He still has a few questions lingering in his mind, but she cuts him off, saying it's a secret. Just then, Tsukimine enters the room and checks if Yuzu is feeling better. She assures her she's fine and was just about to return. Tsukimine explains that she had gotten worried, then glances between them and wonders if they're getting a little too close. Yuzu smirks and playfully suggests it might have been a deep, heart-to-heart love talk, leaving Tsukimine visibly confused. Watching the exchange, Asahi realizes that Yuzu is definitely used to handling her. Later, the principal delivers his speech, and Asahi feels relieved that it is finally concluding. With this, starting tomorrow, his summer vacation begins. Back in class, Tsukimine snaps her fingers and wonders will join her for karaoke after class. Asahi observes from the sidelines, and it feels like a small reunion. He wishes to speak with Tsukimine for a moment before the holidays begin, but even if they did converse, there would not be much to say. He considers leaving before becoming trapped, and Yuzu notices him depart. She tells their classmates that she and Tsukimine must see the teacher, and she signals to Sakura, who understands and takes responsibility. In the hallway, he notices Tsukimine, and he asks if she was not in the classroom with the others, and she responds that she was thinking of inviting him as well. She reflects that Yuzu lied to her to get her ahead of Asahi. She asks if he wishes to come, and he hesitates. Tsukimine wanted to witness him sing, and he feels perplexed and does not know what to say to her. He tells her he's heading home and asks if she wants to drink his blood. Her heart skips a beat, and she gasps, calling him a masochist. Stunned, he demands to know how that makes him one. She admits she's been thinking about it for a while. Getting bitten must hurt, and yet he keeps offering, so he must enjoy the pain. Disappointed, he realizes he was only trying to be considerate. He tells her to forget it. She urges him not to be upset, but he cuts her off, telling her to be quiet. She wouldn't understand unless someone did it to her. He never thought their conversation would end this way. He waits for her to say something, but she remains silent. Finally, he calls her name, and she responds, asking if he wants to do it instead. He's thrown off, unsure what she means. She clarifies. Does he want to drink her blood? The classmates arrive at the karaoke, and Sakura tells Yuzu that she received a message from Tsukimine saying she can send it, but she wonders if she is busy. She asks Yuzu if she is going to sneak out like this, and Yuzu asks why she is so hyped, and she replies that she is curious. She tells her to save her questions for later. Inside the girls' bathroom, Tsukimine locks the door, and flustered, he asks if they are truly going to do this. She replies that he suggested it, and he responds that he did not mean it like that. He then asks why they are in here, and she answers that she has a habit of coming here. Before she can speak, someone enters, and they stop talking. The person leaves, and both exhale in relief. Flustered, she tells him to take responsibility for what he said. He stands stunned and wonders if she is not getting a little too fired up. He indeed suggested it. Confused, he asks what he must do. She instructs him to take a seat, then climbs on. He's stunned, unable to believe how casually she does things like this. She chuckles, saying this has happened before, and back then she remembers, but then realizes what she said. She tells him to give her a moment, and she slides her hair aside, revealing her neck. He struggles to compose himself, then bites her. She softly calls his name, flustered, and reminds him that she's embarrassed too, so he should be serious. He agrees, though he can't help thinking the situation is anything but serious. With a sigh, he finally notices her snow-white skin. As he bites again, she suddenly laughs, then quickly apologizes, realizing how silly it feels. Until now, she'd never noticed, but thinking about it now, she always felt a little guilty. His heartbeat quickens more and more, and she instructs him to bite as hard as he can. He does so, and blood spills. She whines. Quickly apologizing, he asks if she is okay. She had told him to bite as hard as she could, but he never truly meant it. She rises, revealing the blood, then quietly turns and walks away. Despite everything, even if he lost control, he knows he did something terrible. But just before disappearing from view, she pauses and says that maybe it wasn't so bad after all. Confused, he asks what she means, but she simply runs off, calling out a quick goodbye. He's left standing there, dazed and uncertain, wondering what she plans to do about her blood-drinking habits over the summer break. 10 days into the summer vacation, Asahi is enjoying a quiet life. He has finished all his assignments, and now he can relax. But the one thing that is bothering him is that he has not heard from Tsukimine since the closing ceremony. He considers messaging her first, but after that day, he has no idea what to say. Since tomorrow is a school day, he leaves it to tomorrow. The next day, he is greeted by Sakura and Yuzu. Sakura inquires if he enjoyed his vacation, and he replies that he was mostly busy doing homework. She asks why he did not reply if he was free. He chuckles and wonders about Tsukimine. Yuzu informs him that she has not arrived yet. Sakura mentions she has not replied since yesterday, and Yuzu asks if he knows anything. He responds that he does not. Sakura thinks that maybe she overslept. The class is about to start, so they leave. Asahi feels strange, and in the end, she does not show up at school today. Yuzu told him that she will check, so there is no need to worry. He takes out his phone and types a message. "Are you okay?" But he quickly deletes it and proceeds to call her. The phone keeps ringing, but there is no answer. He hears a faint ringtone, and he runs toward the noise, and in the alley he finds her. He questions if she is okay and why she is here. She notices him, and he does not know what to do in situations like these. He tells her they should head to the hospital, and she assures him she is fine, and that she felt sick on the way to school and wanted to rest. More importantly, his blood. He agrees and unbuttons and reveals his neck. Weakly, she replies that it has to be his arm, and he is confused. She answers that she lost the quiz the other day, and as she promised, he gulps, and she drinks the blood from his arm. Again, this feeling in his chest. She finishes drinking, and he inquires if she is feeling better. Tsukimine thanks him, and he thinks for a moment, and questions if she is really okay, and he sees her shivering. He calls her name, which catches her off guard. He tells her she seems unwell, but she refuses, and reveals that when she calmed down, she remembered the day of the closing ceremony, and her face turns red. He asks if that was the reason she stopped messaging him like crazy, and she replies she was embarrassed. He lets out a laugh, and she questions why he is laughing, and he responds that it is funny that she thinks about these things too. There are things he wants to ask about her condition. He asks if there is anything he can do for her. Confused, she questions why he is asking suddenly. He replies there is no reason, and the words slipped out before he could think. She asks if anything is fine, and he replies that if it is within reason. She states that she wants to enjoy this summer vacation with him. He is stunned by her words, and he wanted a quiet life, and that feeling has not changed, but he agrees, and strangely enough, he does not feel bad. He is stunned by her words. He wanted a quiet life, and that feeling has not changed. He agrees, and strangely enough, he does not feel bad. Asahi reflects on her words and wonders if she means a date. He wonders what he should wear, and if he tries too hard, he will look strange. He needs to have some kind of plan. He gets a message, and it is from Tsukimine. It is about tomorrow and the next day. Sakura remarks that he is very slow. He replies he is right on time and realizes she never said it will be just the two of them. He is not sure if he is relieved or disappointed. He asks if the movie is first. Sakura confirms, saying they'll decide the rest later. He calls it disorganized, and Yuzu reminds him that's just how Sakura is. Yuzu notices that Tsukimine is being really quiet, and she replies she is having a lot of fun, though they have not even done a thing yet. He sighs, because as long as Tsukimine is happy, it is fine. At the cinema, Yuzu asks which one they are seeing, and Sakura points at a poster and thinks it is cool enough. Asahi also wants to see this one, but then Tsukimine reveals that she wants to see the one next to it. He notices that it is about forbidden love. He wonders if that is the one between the vampire and the human. Sakura thinks it seems boring, and Yuzu replies that since Tsukimine picked it, it seems fine. Sakura asks what happened to what she just said. She asks what Asahi thinks, and he glances at Tsukimine and states that he will see the one she picked. Sakura cannot believe it, and since the majority wins, he cannot look back at her, and he wonders what she was thinking when she chose this movie. Inside the theater, the movie is about a romance between a vampire and a girl with photosensitivity. The two share a common weakness for sunlight, slowly growing closer. But the wall between their species stands in their way. Before he knows it, he is seeing himself in the movie's main characters. She reaches for his hand and grabs it. He is caught off guard. He notices the tears in her eyes, and he turns his attention back to the movie, letting her grab his hand. Outside, Sakura is in tears. Yuzu remarks that she was the one who was all reluctant, and she enjoyed it more than anyone. She replies the ending was too heartbreaking. He watches them, and Yuzu tells him they are going to the bathroom to fix Sakura's makeup. The two of them are left alone, and it becomes awkward. She apologizes, and he asks why she is apologizing. So, she reveals that she was holding his hand during the movie. She got so caught up she did it without knowing. He tells her not to worry about it. She replies she saw herself in the vampire from the movie, and it is embarrassing. He replies it is not like that at all, and she felt the same thing he did. He asks her about her favorite part, and she thinks and reveals that it is when the vampire pledged his love to the heroine. He asks if she means when he drank blood from her left ring finger. She replies he is correct, not that she has ever heard of it being an actual thing. He thinks that part is just fiction, and she grabs his left hand and bites his left ring finger. He is confused, and she replies it was so romantic that she wanted to copy it. He blushes, and they come back. She tells them it was nothing. Yuzu asks if they should continue going, and Tsukimine stretches out her hand to invite him. His heart skips a beat, and the way she says it, as if nothing happened. His heart is pounding so hard, and it is unfair to him. They go to a lot of places and have a fun time. In his house, Asahi looks at the pictures with a smile. He gets a message from Tsukimine, and she wants to go to the beach. The summer break is already ending. They all helped with her homework and watched fireworks, plus the test of courage and summer festival. Now that he thinks about it, the summer goes by in a flash. After all that youthful excitement, he wants to spend his days peacefully. That is what he thinks a few months ago. He never knows what to expect. As he walks over, she waves, and he apologizes for being the last one again. She tells him it is all right, and she also arrived moments ago. He asks where Sakura and Yuzu are, and she replies they are not here. He is confused. She reveals that she wants to come here with just the two of them. He is shocked because they have always been a group of 4, but now it is just the two of them. He questions why the beach, and at this hour. She replies that the sun is too harsh, and she cannot swim anyway. And plus, does not summer make him think of the beach? He thinks she is right and questions if she cannot swim. She stammers that he does not need to react to that part. Besides, she has never been to the beach before, so she wants to thank him. She keeps saying things he does not know how to react to. Her stomach grumbles, and he suggests they buy something to eat, and she agrees. He is glad the beach house is still open and asks if that is enough for her. She stammers. He should not make it sound like a big eater. He replies that it is actually true, though. She mumbles that if she eats more, her stomach will stick out. He sees the sun setting, and with that, the summer break is. She stands up, and he is confused. She starts undressing, and confused, he looks away asking why she is undressing, but she is wearing a swimsuit and tells him to take a good look.